Hi there. In this video, we would be attempting the Edexcel IGCSE ICT 2022 June theory paper. Okay, that's the paper that we would be doing in this video. Okay, so over here, I have the paper with me. Okay, and let's get started. Okay, so it's a 1 hour, 30-minute paper. Over here, the scenario has been given to you. And over here, it says Leta travels for work and holidays. She uses ICT for planning her travel and for entertainment. Okay. So this is the scenario that's going to be used throughout the entire paper. Okay. We are going to be doing this paper based on an individual called Leta, and she travels for work and holidays. She uses ICT for planning her travel and for entertainment purposes. Okay. So the first question goes as Leta uses a camera and a camcorder when traveling. So which one of these is a camcorder used for? So before we answer this, I first want you to understand the difference between a camera and a camcorder. So when we talk about a camera, okay, we are talking about a device that is ideally used for capturing photographs. Okay, while a camcorder is ideally used for capturing videos. Okay, so for example, if you think about a sporting event, you would find journalists, okay, who have a device like this, which they are capturing photographs with. And this is known as a camera. And then you would also find journalists, okay, who are covering the match, who are covering the sport using a device, quite a big device. And this device is known as a camcorder. It's used for capturing videos, okay? You use the camcorder for capturing videos, okay? So the question says, which one of these is a camcorder used for? So if you go through these four answers, the best answer is over here, which is D, creating video files, okay? So no big deal over here. We put our answer D, okay? Right. Moving on to the next question, guys. Moving on to the next one. Which one of these connectivity types is the fastest Leta could use to transfer files from her camcorder to her laptop? So from the camcorder to transfer files to her laptop, from these four, the fastest connectivity would be USB. Okay. So we put the answer D over here again. Okay. Right. Moving on to the next one, it says, give one reason why Wi-Fi is a better choice than Bluetooth for transferring files from her camera to her laptop. Okay, so we are supposed to give a reason why Wi-Fi is better than Bluetooth, is a better choice than Bluetooth. So there are multiple reasons why Wi-Fi is better. Number one is Wi-Fi has a better bandwidth. It has a higher bandwidth than Bluetooth, which means it can transfer more data every second than Bluetooth can. The second reason is Wi-Fi has a longer range, which means the distance between her camera and her laptop can be much more in Wi-Fi than in Bluetooth. Another reason you can talk about is security. Wi-Fi generally has a much higher level of security during transmission of files than Bluetooth has. Okay, so you can pick any one of those reasons. Okay, I'm going to go with the reason of bandwidth. Okay, so I'm going to say over here, Wi-Fi has a better or higher bandwidth than Bluetooth. Okay, so this is my reason. Okay, the next one is Leta shares holiday photographs with her friends. Explain one reason why Leta shares her photographs online using a social network rather than using email. So they're asking one reason why she would use a social network rather than using email. Okay, so if you were to use a social network, let's take a real life example such as Facebook. So Facebook is a social network, and it is a network where you can have friends, you can share photographs, you can share videos, all that can be done on Facebook. Okay, so a reason why somebody would use a social network rather than email is, you can talk about interactivity. You can say on a social network, there are features that support interactivity, such as liking, commenting, sharing, tagging. Okay, where you do not find these features in email. In email, you don't get that. In email, you simply upload your photographs, you select the context, and you send it. There is no interactive. If they want to interact with, basically they have to reply to you. Okay, that's the only interactivity that's available in an email. However, on a social networking site, you have much more features of interactivity, such as like, comment, share, tag, all that is available. Okay, so let's talk about that over here. You can say a social networking platform offers a higher level of interactivity with features such as liking, commenting, and sharing, and tagging. Okay, which is not found in email. Okay, so in email, you do not get these interactive features. Okay, the next question moves on. Give one reason why Letta does not have to get permission to share photographs she takes with her camera. Yeah, very straightforward. So you can say these are photographs that she took and she took it from her camera. It belongs to her. So she does not need anybody's permission to share it. Okay, you can simply say, since she took these photographs on her own, from her own camera, she does not need anybody's permission as the photographs belong to her. Okay, these photographs belong to her, so she does not need anybody's permission to share it. Okay, all right, moving on. Over here, it says Letta uses a camera with a 128 GB memory card. So guys, the moment you see this 128 GB, you immediately need to understand that they are using the binary number system. Okay, the binary number system is being used over here. Okay, since it says GB, G-I-B. If they said GB, then you know it's the decimal number system. Okay, so over here, it also goes on to say each photograph uses 3 MB of storage. Construct an expression to show how many photographs can be stored on the memory card. Okay, so guys, before we start, what we need to first do is we need to first come to a common unit. Now here it's speaking about gigabytes, here it's speaking about megabytes. We need to first come down to a common unit. So let's go down to megabyte. Okay, so we are right now at gigabyte. 128 gigabyte is where we are right now. Okay, we are going to convert it into megabytes. Okay, so from gigabyte, when you come down to a smaller unit, you have to multiply. Okay, so when you come down from gigabyte, when you come down, it's megabyte. So you have to multiply by 1024. Okay, the reason we take 1024 is because we are using the binary number system. Okay, so we say 1024 megabytes. Okay, so now we are on a common unit. Now we are on megabytes. Okay, now we need to know. So now basically what we have done is now we have converted the capacity of the memory card into megabytes. That's what we have done now. Now the next step that's remaining is we need to see how many we need to see how many photographs can we get into this memory card. And each photograph is 3 megabytes in size. Okay, so what we will be doing is we will be dividing by 3 megabytes, MIB. Okay, so now they have only told us to construct an expression. They haven't asked for the final answer. So we can leave our answer like this. Okay, so what we have done is we have taken the total capacity of the memory card. Sorry, we have to multiply. I forgot to put the multiplication symbol. And we have multiplied by 1024. So now we have the memory capacity in megabytes. And then we have divided by 3 to see how many photographs we can put into it. Okay, I hope it makes sense. Right, the next question, it says, which one of these is the type of storage used by the memory card? So we all know memory card belongs to flash memory. Okay, so let's put it over here. Let's put the answer B, which is flash memory. The next one goes, state one reason why Letta's camera uses ROM. Okay, so we know about the ROM chip. We know the ROM chip is read-only. Okay, you can only read data from the ROM. You cannot make any changes to it. Another reason to use the ROM chip is it's non-volatile. It does not lose any data when the power is turned off. Okay, whatever is there will remain there. Okay, so ideally, the ROM chip is used to store a program called BIOS. Okay, and BIOS will basically define how the device starts up. Okay, so your laptop, your smartphone, your tab, basically almost all computers have a ROM chip, and this ROM chip has a program called BIOS, and BIOS will define how your device starts up. Now, the reason BIOS is put into ROM is for 2 reasons. Number one is whatever is there in the ROM is never lost, even when the power is turned off. That's one reason. And the second reason is you cannot make changes to whatever data is there in the ROM. Okay, so the BIOS cannot be changed. Users cannot modify it. Users cannot delete it. Users cannot change it. Okay, so let's put the answer over here. Okay, you can say the ROM chip will be used to store a program called BIOS, which will define how the camera starts up. Okay, that's it. State one benefit to Letta of the camera software using compression. So they're asking for the benefit. So we all know when compression is used, the size of a file is going to be reduced. Compression basically reduces the file of a size, will reduce the size of a file, sorry. Compression reduces the size of a file, okay? So they have said, state one benefit, you can say, compression will reduce the size of the photographs captured, thus saving storage space, okay? Thus saving storage space. So we have clearly mentioned what the benefit is. Size of the photographs will reduce, so then storage space can be saved, okay? Right, moving on to the next one, it says, explain one advantage of increasing the speed of the camera's processor. So, you know, guys, when you are carrying a camera, and as soon as you press the capture button, from the moment you press the capture button until the photograph has been produced, that gap in between is where the processor is working to process and produce your image. Okay, so when you increase the speed of the camera's processor, the gap between you pressing the button and the image being developed or the image being produced will significantly reduce. Okay, so normally it's a very short time. It's about at max 1 second. You press the button, there's a small waiting period where your processor is trying to form the image, adjust the brightness, adjust the contrast, adjust the lighting. It does all that, and then it produces the image. So then you see it on your camera. Okay, that small gap is where the processor works. So if you increase the speed of the processor, you can say the gap between you pressing the button, okay, the gap after you press the button until the photograph has been produced will significantly reduce or will reduce. Okay, you can say the gap between the user pressing the capture button and the image being produced will reduce. Okay, so that you press the button, image is being processed, then it's produced. So that gap will reduce. Okay. Letter backs up some photographs using an optical disk drive. Okay, so complete the labeling of this diagram of an optical disk drive. So over here, an optical disk drive has been given. As you can see, this is a laptop. And here you have the optical disk drive. So you open this. And then over here, you place your optical disk, which can be a CD, DVD, Blu-ray. Okay, and then you press a button and it closes. Okay, so over here, we have something called a spindle, okay, or a rotator, you can say. So this is what rotates the CD. Okay, you can call it a spindle or a rotator. So let's put that over here. Okay, so this rotates the CD. And then over here, you have a laser. So a laser is what will read the data from the optical disc, okay, from the CD, DVD, or Blu-ray. Data will be read using this laser over here. Okay, so let me put that also over here. So we have a laser over here. The next question says, describe how an optical disk drive reads data from a disk. So we are supposed to describe the process, okay? So over here, we have a laser now. So what happens is the laser will read data from the optical disk. So how does it read data? This is what happens, okay? So on an optical disk, you cannot see it. But if you go into the technicalities of an optical disk contains spirals. Okay, so you have a CD which is round, and then you have spirals, okay, something like this that keeps that is on your CD. And these spirals, okay, I would recommend if you can, do a Google search even and see. I don't have any images right now to show it to you all, but these spirals contain something called pits and lands or pits and flat areas. Is it clear? So inside your CD, which you cannot see, but inside your CD, basically you have spirals, and these spirals consist of pits and lands. Okay, so when the laser comes to a pit, when the laser comes to a spot where there is a pit, what basically happens is there is a reflection of light. Okay, there is a reflection of light. So when there is a reflection of your light, your computer understands that it's a binary value of 1. Okay, I hope you guys do recall that all data that is stored in your computer is stored in the form of binary, 1s and 0s. Okay, so when your CD is rotating, you have a laser, and this laser, it's reading the data on your optical disc. How does it read? When it comes to a spot where there is a pit, when it comes to a spot where there is a pit, there is a reflection of light. So when there is a reflection of light, your computer knows that it's a binary value of 1. When it comes to a land, a flat area, there is no reflection of light. When there is no reflection of light, your computer knows that it's a binary value of 0. Okay, so basically this is how it reads data from a disk. Okay, let me put it into words over here. You can say an optical disc contains spirals around it. Okay, this spiral contains spirals. Okay. These spirals consist of pits and lands. Okay, the laser, okay, you can say the laser shines a light on the optical disc, okay, and when it comes across a pit, there is a reflection of light. This tells the computer, or this, there is a reflection of light. This represents the binary value of 1. When it comes across a land, okay, there is no reflection of light. Okay, this represents a binary value of 0. Okay, so this is how zeros and ones are read from your optical disc. Okay, where when it comes to a pit, there is a reflection of light. Computer knows, okay, it's binary value of 1. When it comes to a land, there is no reflection of light. So your computer knows that this is a binary value of 0. Okay, I hope it makes sense to you guys. Okay, right. Moving on to the next question. It says state one type of optical media LETA could use with the optical disk drive. So when it comes to optical media, the types of storage devices we have are 3. So you have CD, you have DVD, and Blu-ray. So you can talk about any one of them. CD is compact disc, DVD is digital versatile disc, and then the third option is Blu-ray. Cameras and camcorders are examples of products that use an embedded system. So guys, when we say embedded system, we are talking about a computer system that is designed to carry out very, very specific tasks. Okay. So one example is cameras and camcorders. These are devices designed to either capture photographs or capture videos. Okay. So it's a very specific, it's a device made for a specific task, which is why we call it an embedded system. Give one other example of a product that uses an embedded system. So you can think about any other computer that has been designed for a specific task. Okay. It could be a calculator. It could be a fully automatic washing machine. It could be a microwave. Okay. Any one of them you can talk about them. Okay. Right. So with that, we have come to the end of question number 1. Okay. Right. Let's move on to question number 2 then. Over here, it says LETA arrives at a hotel. LETA fills in a form at the hotel reception desk. Which one of these is an OCR reader used for? So we know what OCR is. OCR is optical character recognition. Okay, and it is a device that is used to read the text on a piece of paper, okay, on a hard copy, okay, and it will allow you to scan that text and input that text into your computer. Okay, so which one of these is an OCR reader used for? The answer would be scanning text. Okay, so the answer would be answer D. Okay, the next one, it says LETA connects to the hotel's local area network. One way of identifying a device on a network is the device name. State 2 other ways of identifying a device on a network. So whenever you connect to a network, guys, there are 3 things that will be recorded. So number 1 is your device name. Okay, so based on your device name, you can be identified on a network. Next is your device's IP address. So every laptop, every tab that connects to a network will automatically be given an IP address. Okay, so when you connect to a network, your IP address is recorded. And the third is your MAC address. Every device comes with a unique MAC address. Okay. Every device has something called a network interface card. This network interface card has a serial number. This serial number is basically your MAC address. Okay. So 2 other ways, you can either say IP address, you can say IP address, And the next option is MAC address. Okay. State 2 reasons for identifying devices on a network. 2 reasons to identify devices on a network. So you can say one reason is to know who is accessing the network, to know which devices are accessing the network. Okay. You can say to know which devices / users are accessing the network, or to keep track of which devices or users are accessing the network. Another reason can be to restrict it. So when you want to restrict a user from accessing the network, you want to block a user, or for example, you want to restrict a user's usage on the network where you do not want them to access certain websites. You do not want them, for example, to use torrents or video streaming. Okay, so then you need to know their IP addresses. You need to know their MAC addresses, because based on those addresses only, you will be restricting them. Okay, so you can say, in order to restrict or control access of devices in the network. Okay, you want to either control or restrict their access, then you will need to know their IP address or MAC address. Okay. State 2 ways a local area network is different from a wide area network. Okay. So yes, the first thing that we can talk about is we can say local area network is a network that is only accessible within a specific location. So within a building, within a house, within a within a building or an organization. Okay, so local area network is always accessible within a certain location only. Wide area network is a network that can be accessed across the globe. Okay, so you can say LAN is accessible only within a specific location, while WAN can be accessed across the globe. Okay. Next, if you go on to the next point, you can talk about the number of devices. LAN can, or you can say WAN can accommodate a much larger number of devices than a LAN can. Okay, you can say WAN, a wide area network, can accommodate a much larger number of devices than LAN can. Okay, this is another difference between the two. Moving on, explain one advantage of connecting a printer to a network. Okay, so when you have a printer to a network, it can be shared with multiple users, isn't it? So you do not have to get each user a separate printer. Okay, you can say when a printer is connected to a network, it can be shared with all users on the network, thus reducing the costs of purchasing a new printer for users. Okay, so you don't need to purchase a new printer for every user. Okay, you can purchase one and have it shared in the entire network. Okay, draw one straight line from each method of protecting a network to the correct use. Okay, so if you look at firewall, the use of a firewall is to block ports in a network. So you know the function of a firewall is to check all the packets of data that enter a network and exit a network. So basically like a security guard. Okay, that's what the purpose of a firewall is. Okay. So the next one goes as encryption. Okay, so if you look at the remaining 3 answers, the best answer that goes for encryption is prevents data from being understood if intercepted. So as you know, when data is encrypted during transmission, it gets scrambled, it gets jumbled up. So anybody who intercepts the data would simply not be able to understand it. The third one, which is biometric. Okay, so it is used to authenticate users based on their biometrics, their fingerprint, their voice, their eyes, their retina. Okay, so the answer for biometric is going to be authenticates users. Which one of these connects to a local area network using a gateway? Okay, so from over here, if you look at the answers, okay, which one of these connects to a local area network using a gateway? Okay, so you have a local area network. There is a gateway in between, which can, for example, be a router. And then what is the network you would have thereafter? So from the 4 answers that have been given over here, the best answer would be a wide area network, because let me explain. in your house, you have a local area network where you have your smartphone, your tab, your laptop, your, all your devices connected to a router. So up to the router, you have a local area network, isn't it? You have all your devices connected to each other and they're all connected to the router. So up to the router, you have a local area network. Now, through the router, so the router is now behaving like a gateway, and through the router, you access the internet, and the internet is a wide area network. Okay, so now turn it the other way around. What you have is you have a wide area network, which through a gateway is connecting to your local area network. Okay, that's what this question is also about. Okay, right. Let our watchers a film online. Describe one way to reduce the amount of time a film appears pixelated when it first loads from an online streaming service. Okay, so describe one way to reduce the amount of time a film appears pixelated when it first loads from. So when it appears pixelated means the bandwidth is still not enough to, get the video playing in high definition. So you basically need to have a higher bandwidth. So what are the ways you can increase your bandwidth? Now, it's not like you can go to settings and increase bandwidth. That doesn't happen. Okay, but ways that you can increase your bandwidth is, for example, by reducing the distance between your device and the router. Okay, reducing the number of programs that is using up your bandwidth. Okay, say for example, you're trying to watch a movie online, but in the background, you're having 2-3 other programs that are running that's consuming your bandwidth. So reduce the number of programs or close those programs. And another thing that you can do is reduce the number of users that are accessing the bandwidth, that is accessing your internet connection. Okay, so then you will have a chance of having a higher bandwidth coming to your device. You get it? So you can pick up any one of these methods. Okay, I'm going to go with a simple one, which is the user, or you can say letter, can reduce this time by placing her device closer to the router so that it receives a strong bandwidth without being affected by many physical obstacles. Okay, so if she is too far away from the router, the signals from the router have to reach a device, and in between there can be too many physical obstacles that are reducing the strength of those signals. So by her coming closer to the router, this distance is being reduced. These physical obstacles are being eliminated. Then they are being put out. That problem is not there because she's quite close. I mean, because her device is now very, very close to the router. Okay, right. The next question goes as describe high latency. So, guys, when latency is high, basically what happens is it takes a longer time for data to come back to your device, for data to reach your device. Okay, so you can say when latency is high, it takes a longer time. Okay, we can say the time duration for data to reach your device is high. Okay, so when latency is high, the amount of time it takes for data to come back to your device, to reach your device, is high. It takes a long time. Okay. The hotel network manager has administrator privileges. Explain one reason an administrator would use a network operating system to manage users. Okay. So explain one reason an administrator would use a network operating system to manage users. Okay, so we are talking about a hotel network manager and he has administrator privileges. Okay, which means he can control he can control the access that each user has to in the network. Okay, so this is what we call file access rights. So the network administrator, basically, he has what we call file access rights, where he can control what files each member of the network can access. And not only what files they can access, what are their levels of access? Can they read only? Can they read and write? Are they denied access? Can they modify? Can they delete? All this is what you call file access rights. Okay, so they're asking for one reason. Okay, one reason an administrator would use a network operating system to manage users. So you can talk about file access rights in order to manage the level of access that each user on the network has towards the hotel's files. Okay, shall we put that over here? In order to control the level of access that each user on the network has towards the files of the hotel. Files / data, you can talk about any one of them, the files, the data, okay, of the hotel, okay. Explain one reason why the network manager should back up data regularly. So one reason to back up data regularly is in case there is a flood, in case there is a natural disaster such as a flood, in case there is a fire, in case the data is accidentally deleted, okay. So you can note down any one of them. You can say in case data is accidentally deleted, a backup, you can say in case data is accidentally deleted, regular backups should be done, okay. There are, instead of using accidental deleted, you can talk about natural disasters, you can talk about fires, you can talk about hacking where your data is stolen, okay. You can pick any one of them. Regular backups should be done, okay. Moving on to the next one, it says the hotel staff use project management software. State what is meant by the term critical path. So you know project management software is the ideal software for managing an entire project. So when it comes to managing an entire project management software is the best software you can use. You can tell the software what are the tasks that need to be done, what are the resources that need to be used, when does it have to finish, okay? And then the project management software will allow you to track each of these tasks. Okay, it'll allow you to share the tasks with multiple users. Okay, so this is the reason why we use project management software to manage an entire project. Now, in project management software, we have something called critical path. So critical path is basically the shortest amount of time that is needed to complete the project. That is what you call critical path. Okay, shall we put that over here? The shortest amount, or you can say the shortest path. You can either say shortest path or the shortest amount of time, the shortest amount of time that, so we can say, we'll say shortest path, the shortest path to completing the entire project. Okay, right. So with that, we have now come to the end of question number 2 as well. Okay, so project management, in case you're wondering, did we ever learn this? So this comes in chapter 2 under software. Towards the end of chapter 2, you have a project management software. Okay, right. Moving on to question number 3, it says, let our users an online travel booking system. A travel booking system is one type of online service. Give two other types of online service. So there are many online services that you can come up with. They have asked only for 2. So you can talk about online banking. You can talk about online shopping, online gaming. Okay. You can put any one of them. Okay. The next one it says is list 2 features of a travel booking system. Okay. So if you think about a travel booking system, they're asking you of 2 features. So think about Airbnb, Trivago, okay, Agoda. Think of apps like that. What are some of the features that you would find in it? Okay, so for example, one would be a secure payment gateway. Okay, secure payment gateway in order for you to complete your payments. Okay, then for example, you would have a filtering feature. Okay, where you can sort by location, you can sort by number of stars, you can sort by number of, I don't know, the facilities they offer. For example, do they have Wi-Fi? Do they have a swimming pool? Do they have, I don't know, what do you call, breakfast buffet? You can filter out by facilities. Okay. Then something else that you would have is a calendar where you can select your dates. Okay. When do you want to book? When do you want to check out? You know, things like that. You would have a profile, your own profile, where you can check your previous bookings. Okay. You can mention any one of those features. Okay. You can maybe talk about a virtual cart as well, where you can add multiple bookings and pay for them all together at once, a virtual cart. Okay. Right. Which one of these describes the role of cookies? So you know cookies are used to track your online activity. So the answer is going to be transaction tracking. Okay. It tracks your activity on a network, which is basically known as transaction tracking. Okay. Which one of these describes safe practices when using online systems? So when using online systems, if you were to go through these 4 answers, okay, acknowledging sources is a good practice when you're using information, where you give credit to the place that you took the information from. Avoiding copyright is also when you're using the information. Paraphrasing is also when you're using the information. So the answer is going to be anonymizing, what, how do you pronounce this? Anonymizing posts. I'm finding it difficult to pronounce this word. So basically, it's basically you're appearing anonymous. Okay, you're appearing anonymous where people do not know that it's you who's posting. You're appearing without your real name. Okay, so this is one way of being safe online, but unfortunately, some people tend to misuse it as well. Okay, anonymizing. It goes as anonymizing posts. Okay. All right. Next. It says describe two positive impacts, two positive changes, two positive effects on society of increased access to technology. Okay, so because of increased access to technology, what you have to describe two positive effects, two positive changes, basically. Okay, so you can talk about, for example, what can we talk about? Okay, you can say people are now better informed and aware of what's happening around the world, mainly due to social media making it easy for users around the world to post on what's happening in their life. Okay, so for example, in today's world, we all basically have an idea of what's happening around the world. Okay, we know what's happening. We know what's happening in each country. What is the hot news in each country? Okay, say for example, if there's an earthquake somewhere, within a short period of time, everybody gets to know about it. Okay, or say for example, somebody has broken a record around the world. People very soon get to know about it. Okay, so one is people are now better informed. Okay, generally everybody knows what's happening around the world. Okay, they know the latest. Okay, so this is one positive impact. Okay, people are well informed, they are well aware. This is one thing. Another positive impact you can talk about that people are able to keep in touch. People are now better in touch. Okay, where people have contact with their loved ones. Okay, that is another point that you can talk about. Another positive impact you can talk about is the chances of getting a job. Okay, so increase access to technology. Now, for example, if you think about riders, okay, those who want to work for a booking system, okay, all they need is a smartphone and an internet connection. That's all they need. Okay, and they can start working, for example, for an online booking system such as Uber Eats, such as Pick Me Food, for example. Okay, then you can also talk about another positive impact is individuals get a chance to spend more time with their families, because many services can be achieved or can be performed from their smartphone. That's another positive impact. Okay, you may argue, well, even though people do get a chance to spend more time with their families, they do spend it, you can argue about that, but let us look at the positive impacts for now. Okay, where you can say, let's put that answer down over here. You can say many services can now be performed on the smartphone instead of users traveling to a particular location. For example, okay, let's give an example. For example, shopping can be done on the internet using your smartphone, okay, where the goods are delivered to your doorstep. So users now have more time to spend with their families. Okay, this is one positive impact. Okay, another one can be, for example, when it comes to banking, you don't have to physically travel to the bank and get your banking activities done. You can simply do it from your smartphone itself. Okay, so you're basically getting more time to spend with your families, to spend with the people that you love. Okay, you get more time to spend with them. Okay, so this is another positive impact on society here. Okay, all right, moving on to the next one. It says, let us check some hotel reviews on an online community here. Describe one feature of a wiki that is different from the key features of a forum. Okay, one key feature of a wiki that is different from the key features of a forum. So guys, as you know, a wiki is used to publish information, okay, or to publish news or articles or information, and users come and read it. And users are only given the option to edit. They can suggest additions. Okay, but generally you wouldn't be able to comment and like and share, and all that wouldn't be there. While in a forum is an ideal place for you to start a discussion where you post a topic and users can comment, users can reply, users can like. Okay, so a forum is ideally a place for discussions, where wikis is ideally a place to gather information, to get to know about things. Okay, so they are asking, describe one feature of a wiki that is different from the key features of a forum. They have asked you for one feature. You can talk about the feature that, for example, a wiki allows users to suggest additions. Okay, so for example, you have published an article about a particular politician, for example. Okay, you have published an article about a politician called John, for example. Users can come onto your wiki and suggest additions. They can say date of birth should be this, or for example, there's a problem with his the days or the information that has been mentioned, and they can suggest additions. Now, you do not have this feature in a forum. In a forum, once you post a topic, there is no option for users to come and edit what you have posted as such. Okay, so let's talk about it over here. You can say on a wiki, users can edit. Users can suggest additions on what has been posted, and a moderator can either approve or disapprove these additions. Okay, but you do not have this feature on a forum. Okay, on a forum, editing what has been posted, this feature is generally not there. Instead, what you do is you would comment your opinion, you would comment on what you want to say. Okay, describe one way an acceptable behavior policy will benefit an online community here. Describe one way and accept. So we know what a behavior policy is. A behavior policy basically will tell users what they can do on the net, what they can do on this community, what they are not supposed to do. Okay, what are the penalties if they violate the rules? Okay, so so you can simply say describe one way an acceptable behavior policy will benefit an online community. We can say users of the online community will know exactly what they can do and cannot do, and what are the penalties they will have to face if they violate any of the policies. And further, this would create a safe and pleasant environment for all users. Okay, right. Moving on next, guys. Describe how one feature of an online community can be used to check that an acceptable behavior policy is being followed. So they're asking to describe how one feature of an online community that can be used to check that an acceptable behavior policy is being followed. So for example, an online community should have something called a profanity filter. So what does a profanity filter do? It would block comments that contain swear words in them. Or for example, it should have a URL censor where it would block comments or posts that contain URLs of inappropriate sites. Okay, so let's mention that over here. You can say a profanity filter would automatically filter out comments or posts that contain swear words in them. Okay, so this is one feature an online community can have in order to support their behavior policy. Okay, so with that, then we have come to the end of question number 3. Next, we move on to question number 4.